head, the sound of Gotham Town Hall. Speakers of sound of a hurricane eye. In my mind, I'm a really big guy. Gulliver seems like it's just knee-high, hard to focus though when you only got one eye. Troubles ahead before it seems so small, hard to fit through a door when you're 20 foot tall. Reach up and I touch to the sky, turning it up and I'm letting it fly. Deep I fall from, I smell the blood of the English. Down to the beat, carry 'em all, shaking my head and I'm ready to brawl. Deep I fall from, I smell the blood of an English guy. Guitar when I sleepwalk. Play guitar, another 20 foot tall. The air in my head, the sound of Gotham Town Hall. Troubles ahead before it seems so small, hard to fit through a door when you're 20 foot tall. Oh my God! Hey, when I said deep, I fall. Hey, when I said deep, I fall. I saw the blood of an Englishman. Hey, when I said deep, I fall. I saw the blood of an Englishman.
Sorry for that brief delay there. Had to change the sound over from stereo quality. If you haven't seen that video, you can go to our YouTube channel and you can watch it in its entirety. It's called I Giant. It's off the 6th studio album by Brent Doerner of My Wicked Twin. That is his brainchild. It's an awesome one. The album is called Nobody Approved. We were talking about that just before the show, and we're going to talk about that some more, and we're going to explore that with Brent tonight. So without further ado, are you ready, Brent, to come online? Okay, here we go. Hey, Brent.
Hey, how are you? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, barely. Can you hear me?
Hang on a second. I'll just switch the audio over and see if the audio switched over. Maybe it didn't. Yeah, the audio should be switched over. It should be all good.
No.
Yep, I hear you fine.
Well,
as long as you can hear me, that's the most important thing tonight.
Barely.
I see you got your, can you hear me better now?
No, not really.
Oh. All I see is a chin right now. All right, there we go. You got your Einstein glasses on tonight. It looks like you're smoking a doob.
Yeah, just chilling. Another long day.
Yeah, you're in the middle of renovations in a new place.
Yeah. Yeah, I just wanted there's some stuff that's really stupid. Like every house you ever buy or move into, people do stupid stuff, eh? So I'm here to change it
So
because I'm going to be here for a long time. So I want it the way I want it.
everything you change on the house, you should put a mental note on that wall or that piece that you fixed and said, "Stupid lived here."
Yeah, behind me there used to be a freestanding gas fireplace. So it was just taking up a whole bunch of. And there's bricks on the floor, bricks on the wall. Bricks belong in the outside of the house, not on the inside. They're all out of
Speaking from,
here. 2,800 pounds of them.
speaking from a guy who framed houses for a number of years.
Oh yeah, I know. I got pretty good at that too. Uh, when I left Helix, it was the first job I got was from an old friend of mine who was a house framer, and these two guys bet 100 or not $100. It was a case of beer that I would last 1 week, and the other guy said he'd never last a week, right? And I was there for 7 years.
And,
So somebody lost money on a case of beer.
yeah, and you had your reasons for for leaving the band other than just financial. You were looking for more stability in your life in terms of not traveling all the time and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never realized that for all those years that, when it comes right down to it, it took me a decade after leaving Helix to realize I hate traveling.
Coming from a guy who's played, how many continents have you played in?
14.
Yeah, you've played in a lot.
14 countries, not continents.
No, but you got to tour a good part of the world.
Yeah. I tell you, when we were in Trinidad and Tobago, we played at the King's, I think it was called the King's Theater or something, beside the president's mansion of Trinidad, right?
Right.
We were doing sound check, and somebody from the president's palace called over and said, "Turn it down." I think it was the president. I think it was the president of Trinidad.
Oh man. So I mean, you're no stranger to doing things like renovations and stuff like that, and you're working because your studio in your house is going to back onto a mechanical room, right?
Yeah, I got a furnace behind me, but I spent the other day just putting that safe and sound barrier in between the studs and the furnace, and I finished it this morning in there, sheeting the wall behind the furnace. That's how I got this.
Yeah, never drill in a tight space.
Yeah, the drill
There's
got
your
caught.
workman's compensation tip for the day.
Yeah, the drill got caught. It went around in a circle, and I was hanging onto it, so my wrist went around in a circle too.
Hey, Brent, I got to tell you a funny story. This is many, many, many years ago. I'm talking like early 1980s, and my dad's helped me put up a privacy fence. Right?
Yeah.
And we're digging post holes with those, those 2-man gasoline augers.
Oh yeah, the helicopter.
Yeah. So we got this helicopter, and we're going down, and we're digging a fence post hole, and this auger goes down, and all of a sudden the auger gets caught on something. Right now, here's a guy putting in fence posts. We did not even have anybody come in and spec the site for us before we started digging these post holes.
Oh man, I've seen a few things where the post guys, they'll come in with an auger to drill, and the guy hits like a 280,000 volt line, and he's just burnt to a frigging crisp, right?
That's not good.
I missed one by about 20 feet one time with a skid steer and an auger.
Right.
Because I was way out in the country, I figured there's no way there's nothing around here.
Right.
And I got a call from the hydro company and said, you missed like a 280,000 volt line by about 20 feet.
Oh.
So I
Scary.
said, hey, fuck, I'm like in the middle of nowhere. How could this be? And it's a buried line, right?
Well, they're supposed to be buried 48 inches down. Like they're supposed to be buried, and they're supposed to be like warning tape when you get to them. There's supposed to be gravel and stuff on top of them before you even get to the lines, right?
Do you know the one time we were drilling and we got all our locates, of course,
Yeah.
and they had, not only did they have a gas company truck there with a guy and a woman, but they also had a helicopter because this gas line was so big that it was really, really important that I didn't go near it. They flew a
Oh, man.
helicopter over.
Wow. So yeah. So if you'd gotten into that line, you could have caused a major explosion
Oh, yeah.
or a major disruption in service or something, right?
Hey, I wonder if anybody else can hear you because I just almost can't.
You shouldn't. I think I don't
I got
know.
my volume wide open on my headphones here.
People are in the chat room. You tell me if you can hear me or not. I'm assuming that I am. Hey, Caleb, let us know. Is the volume good here? Can you hear me? Anyway, we're talking with Brent Doerner of My Wicked Twin. The topic got on to construction because Brent and I are like do-it-yourselfer guys. Anyways, Brent, the story with that auger is that I had the locates. I had the locates from when we bought the house, and nothing had changed, right? So we thought we were in an okay zone, and we were going where old posts were before, so we didn't think it was a problem. Anyway, don't we hit a T-post that's buried in the ground? And the
A
auger,
metal T-post. Yeah, a fence post.
yeah, the auger kept going, but we we hung on to it.
Yeah, that's why I called it a helicopter.
And we're spinning around on this freaking thing, right? So finally it flings us off, right? We had the good sense to let go, and it flung us off, right? I grab a hold of, I'm waiting for the thing to go by and trying to get the throttle because the throttle's stuck open on the fucking thing.
Oh, that's Dan. Yeah, those things are pea shooters.
It's spinning around, and I'm trying to grab it to hit the kill switch so I can shut the stupid thing off. Man, that was the worst experience ever doing a privacy fence for sure.
Hey, I want to just jump back. What the hell just happened with that new video? Like I thought the audio sounded horrible.
You thought the audio sounded horrible.
Just horrible. It sounded like your room mic. That's what I heard was a room mic of the song.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the audio. Maybe the audio didn't switch over. I was on
Yeah,
stereo.
these live streams. It's always a screw up somewhere.
I was on stereo input, but you know what? We do work with a third party piece of product here, being Restream. And that's one of the reasons why I haven't gone and got the upgraded version, because they haven't even proved that this version works. And this is a paid version of the platform. So,
Right.
if I could find a better streaming platform, I might actually go to it and try something different. So, I mean, you and I are you're a bit of a pioneer because this video is made with AI, the actual video, not the track, but the video itself.
Yeah. I had it was definitely first off, I got to thank Ted Van Boert for turning me onto it. He's my high tech guru, dude, and he phoned me from Nova Scotia and said, "Hey, check this out! Look what I did." So I was so thrilled. I subscribed immediately. Well, you don't subscribe to the AI I was at. You just buy credits. So I bought 12,000 credits right away, which was $200, basically $200 US. And I learned the hard way the first few days. Like, AI is all about what they call prompting, which is basically a fancy word for giving it instructions, right?
That's right.
So, like, for example, in the video you just played, I type in giant man playing blue guitar. Well, it comes up with the dumbest things. Like AI is actually stupid at times. So then you'd have to type in. See, there's other prompting things that you do, like you can put giant man and then semicolon 2.4 in a bracket, and then it'll emphasize giant man, right?
Right.
But then it
Right.
shows if everybody else is a giant in the room, it doesn't look like he's a giant, right?
Yeah, it
Anyway, so
was.
what I learned from it all was number one, I would try to tell it that, and let it render the whole song. Well, you get so much junk, it's unbelievable. That has nothing to do with nothing. So then, and to render 3.5 minutes would be almost an hour and a half. So then I thought, I'm going to try just a half an hour, right? Or I mean,
Right.
a half a minute of the song. Well, that
Right.
takes way too long, and you end up with nothing but junk, lots of junk, and a little bit right at the start of what you asked for, right? So, so then I ended up going down to 8 seconds. So then I would render an 8 second prompt. Is a render prompt. So it shows me 4 images. And if you like one of them, you can turn that into a video. And say 8 seconds takes 4 minutes, I think, something like that.
Wow, that's complicated, man. So far.
So then I made files because I rendered the first day 55 8 second videos because you only get what you want at the start. It doesn't keep giving you what you asked for, right?
Oh
It
wow.
just goes crazy after a while. So so I've got, and then some of them I kept them because I think they charge you, I forget how many credits. But anyway, each when it shows you those 4 images, that's like 10 cents to render the 8 second video. It's like I don't know, I can't remember what it is, 40 cents or $4 or something. I'm not sure, but anyway, I ended up with 60 something 8 second videos, and going off the lyrics. So as the lyrics change in the song, like I had the hardest time telling I want a giant man stuck in a small door. It can't figure that out. It's super frustrating and super slow and time consuming. So now you've just spent about 5 to 10 minutes for your 8 second clip. See what I
Now,
mean?
how
10
how many
seconds for eight,
how
10 minutes
how
for 8 seconds.
how many hours do you figure it took you to render that whole video?
About 20 seconds.
Okay, to
I
render
couldn't
it,
believe it. I actually
but
thought it
but
screwed
from
up.
the point of creation to be able to render it,
Oh,
how
I
many
put in
how many
about
hours?
60 hours, but I'd have to say that I pissed away one whole day out of that. Just learning how to prompt and talking to Ted, right?
Right, but I mean,
So,
learning how to prompt is not an easy thing, right?
no, but you can go and the software I was using was it even has a prompt generator. So you type in giant man playing blue guitar and
Right.
it basically gives you the same bullshit back, right? Only in a longer sentence.
Well, you were doing the video AI. Ted actually beat me to it. I was working with an AI program to develop the still art for the album cover. Remember,
Yeah,
I sent you different ones, and you said, "Oh, I like this one. I like this one. I like this one." So we might use some of those on our on future single releases. Who knows?
yeah, and
Because
Ted, like he runs like an Apple computer and a PC
right,
at the same time on a private network, and he's got like super zoom three computers.
I'm going to share this right
Can't
now.
track the guy.
So
Can't untrackable.
there's what Ted created for Brent on this AI program. This ended
Yeah.
up being this ended up being the final draft for the album cover. You and I were back and forth about that. Remember, I said it should have a stamp that says nobody approved on it.
Yeah, that was your idea. Thanks, pal.
Yeah,
And I want to say, I was actually sitting in a chair beside my pool, and I sent Ted a picture of me sitting in a lawn chair beside the pool, and that's what it came up with.
so
Believe it
Ted
or not.
so Ted dressed you. He put you in
Well,
those.
I don't know what Ted's prompts were, but I think they were
Right.
really long, like really long.
Had to be a lot of prompts to be able to look at the detail in that photograph.
Yeah, I know. He is he's on top of all that stuff. So
Here's the interesting thing. Look in the back. Look in the back far right and the back left of the photograph, and you'll see what look like tabletop candelabras
that's right.
sitting back there. But those are not candles in them; they're incandescent lights.
I never noticed.
Yeah, if you look really, really close at them, you can see that they're incandescent. Now, on the left side, on the left side of the where the stamp is, that those may be candles. But if you look on the right side, those are definitely incandescent lamps.
Well, Ted generated. I think he sent me a batch of 8, and then another 11, and there was 2 really good ones. There's another really good one.
Ted's so good at that. Ted's so we're not going to broach that topic tonight of AI music, but Ted is one of these guys that has become this technological idiot savant. Like he's really grasped onto this AI technology, and he's got a good handle on it, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, and yeah, he's quite amazing. All right, but I want to stress, like I privately sent the video we saw at the start of the show to a couple of my friends, Nick Walsh and the famous Underground, the lead singer. And what was shocking that his question came back. He said, "I love the video. Is the song AI as well?" And I was shocked that he actually said that, but he was serious, right? So that's why in the description, I had to put in there, "Hey, I wrote this song and I played it and I performed it and recorded it," right?
Well, without letting the cat out of the bag, you and I both know personally that Ted has created some really good music with AI.
Yeah, he sent me a couple of country songs he wrote that he didn't write, that AI wrote. and I'd have to say it was really good. So,
right.
And I said to him, I don't know whether to congratulate you or cry because it's so good. There isn't even and whoever AI picked for the guy singer, the guy's a great singer.
Well,
the whole thing's recorded well. It sounds like it's all perfectly recorded, and the song's never existed. But he said the problem with the prompting AI to write the song, he said it comes back with the lyrics, and you could just tell that a machine wrote the lyrics because it's that bad, right? So he rewrote the lyrics. So he prompted AI, produced a country song and made the video and released it all in one day.
That's crazy. But
I don't know, like
he's got
that could literally just kill the music business.
Shh. That's not the part we want to talk about a whole heck of a lot.
Well, I mean, you think about it, like if you can have really great music like that, and there isn't any recording studios or musicians, or even a singer for that matter,
right?
Like I don't know what the future brings for that, really.
Well, I mean, the thing is that if people are going to try stay to true music, then especially if they're a touring artist, they're going to want to tour and play those songs live. right? I mean, there's the huge difference. I mean, one of the things I noticed about that song was that I really felt as a singer that it lacked emotion.
Yeah, for sure.
There was a certain coldness to it that felt inhuman. It really did. It felt insincere.
Yeah. So how will we know if it's real humans playing something anymore now? Like it sounds that good.
I guess the question is, does it really matter? Because the AI came from humans in the first place. I mean, AI
Well,
is
it friggin'
only.
matters to me, Ken.
I know, but AI has only learned what we gave it, right? I mean, we've given it, but we can't give it a heart. We can't give it a soul. And when I listen to the lyrics of your songs, right? It's like he said, AI can't come up with words for a song to save its soul, literally,
Yeah,
right?
like I said, when you're prompting AI, is kind of stupid, like dumb as a fucking doornail at times.
Yeah, I mean, AI might be all right for being able to imitate and copy how music gets produced, but again, I listen to tracks that people record. And I've been involved in your project by coming to your place and spending time with you in the studio and listening to your tracks back with you and giving you suggestions on EQing and presence of instruments, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, that tip on pulling down 2.7K on the guitars
Right.
is really great for getting the vocal there, because I can never forget. Like you listen to any Ozzy song, the loudest thing is Ozzy's voice.
That's right. His voice comes out on top of the production.
Right. And I wasn't comfortable with that. Uh, and, my wife, if the vocals aren't loud enough in the mix, she'll get about 2 sentences in and says, I can't hear the words, and walks away. That's what I get. Like a nice
Eh,
pick in the ass, right?
well, and if it's a vocal song, I mean, your songs are not instrumentals; they're vocal songs. They're written. You take a lot of time and a lot of thought and effort when you're writing a song to give it some thought about how the message you want to tell in the song.
Yeah, I wrote a song called The Medicine Man on the new album. And I was singing about, it's a fictitious Indian scene, of course, but I like the song Medicine Man. And the young Indian, he wants that squaw, like that's that kind of, he loves the squaw, right? And I wrote, my precious gem is jaded. I was so proud of that sentence. So she's my gem, but she's jaded, rocks, gems, jade, rocks, gem.
Right. A huge play on words, and that's really big for you when you're writing lyrics.
Well, I don't want to write the hey, let's rock and roll all night, and I'm too old to write songs like let's go get laid, right?
Well, let's talk about thought provoking, for example. I Giant. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the lyrics in that song. What inspired the lyrics and the title for the song?
Good question. I don't know really where I got that from. I like like there's iPhones, iTunes, and I started writing about it's a dream, right? When I'm dreaming, I'm a giant guitarist, right? And then so my speaker's the size of a hurricane eye, right? Uh, I guess because of the iTunes and everything, I thought I'd call it iGiant. And I actually, there's another something that I did differently too. It doesn't have a chorus. This song doesn't even have a chorus
Right.
anywhere. Nowhere does it sing I'm a giant or I giant. It doesn't have the word I giant in there.
Right.
So I just wrote a song without a chorus, and because it was always stuck to
So
the,
what?
it's got to have a chorus, it's got to
So
have a hook.
so was it the riff? Was there a riff that was in your mind that started the whole thing?
Yeah, I had I've got a library of licks that I keep in folders, and I just like the lick. So I and then I fooled around with a drum beat that my twin brother would always do. A really busy, kind of a shuffling thing on the snare, really busy on the drums. Not kicking the shit out of it, not high speed. Just listen
Yeah.
to I Giant and you'll
e-
know.
e- Even when you listen to the drums in that song, you didn't have to have a ton of other instrumentation in there because it was almost tribal the way that the drums are being played.
Hey, how come it says on the screen tonight's special guest Rick Emmett?
Oh my God. I better get rid of that. You just noticed that, and I just noticed that. That was
Yeah, I'm
bad.
a spode. You're a
I,
spode.
I'm a spode. I'm an internet spode. That's what Brent calls people who fuck up, and I clearly fucked up there. Man, that's not a good thing. Poor Rick. No, not really. Um, let me. I've got to find it off the
He was
design
his
now.
show was great last week.
Wasn't that a great show? It was a fun.
Yeah, man, he's great. It was funny how he said my old man thought that you're never gonna make any money in music. You should get that out of that and go into real estate or do something. I forget what he said. Anyway, he says, so I bought my father a brand new car, and he still wasn't impressed. And he says, you should go get a real job. He said, but then I bought him a house, and then he said, well, hey, maybe that music business is working out for you.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing was, I mean, you guys all came from intact families when you started out in Helix, and you guys, you know, financed a lot of your own projects. Like you guys invented the word indie label.
Yeah, Brian Vollmer went and borrowed 10 grand from his parents, and I borrowed 10 grand from my parents, and we made a Helix album.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty crazy how you guys put that all together, and you guys were like one of the few acts back in the day that could sell so many of their own albums. I mean, you guys sold between your two albums sold about 10,000 copies on your own or something like that,
Yeah, we sold them on the breaks. Like we have to do 3 sets, sometimes 4 sets, right?
right?
So on the breaks, I think we sold the albums for $10. And if you sold an album, the guy who sold the album got $2, right? So I mean to say that when we were making 50 or $75 a week on the road, if you made an extra $2, that was a big deal. So
Yeah,
we
I
were
mean
all out there
that's
hustling
like
our
lunch.
asses. Yeah, we were
That's
out
just
there
like lunch.
hustling our asses on all the breaks, trying to make an extra $2, right? And at the end of the week, you could add up and actually have an extra $25 at the end of the week. You'd be like rolling in dough. And
Yeah,
everybody thought we were so skinny because we were into drugs. Well, who could afford drugs? We could hardly afford to feed ourselves.
right. Talk about
So
starving me. You guys know the whole starving musician story.
yeah, like I would have preferred steak and eggs to a can of beans any day. But when we were that young and on the road, and you were out there selling the albums, it was a great way to meet chicks, eh?
You guys, you've always been. I consider you to be a bitchin' guitar player.
Thanks, pal.
Um, I I I didn't know you way back in the day. I knew Paul Hackman. Kind of grew up with him, and his brother Mike, and I didn't know you guys back in the day. I knew you guys through Paul. We came out to your shows and stuff like that. And what always impressed me about you and Paul is the way you guys could play off each other.
It just seemed fairly easy to me. It was like, we never had an argument over who was going to play what solo on what song. it was like Paul would say, "Hey, I think I want to play I want to play the solo on this." I said, "Well, go ahead, right?
Right.
See if I care."
Right.
Because
But
we
you
were
always,
forever recording, right, and writing it. So I mean, so
I mean,
what? That other guy played the solo. So what?
you guys had like harmony leads going on. You guys had answer, like question and answer leads going on.
Yeah, we had discussions about before we just rather than just jam a bunch of notes. You know, like our manager used to say, if you can sing the solo, you did a good job. You know, like you can sing, for example, the Eagles song "Hotel California." You can sing that solo,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So it's got enough melodic notes that it has an actual melody. So we'd approach the songs that it was to you write the solo. You don't just go in and jam a bunch of notes. It's an actually written solo. Like we figure it out. That's too busy. Doesn't have enough melody. That melody is too sappy. Get rid of it. Change it from make it a little more angry or whatever. Right?
That's one of the things I liked about your guys when you guys played your leads. They were always complimentary, but they were more than that. There was a quality to them that was melodic.
Hey, I got to tell you.
Mm.
So in the Wild in the Streets video, Paul and I throw our guitars to each other, right?
Right.
So he throws his guitar, I throw the one I was playing, and it shows on the film, and he catches his own guitar and keeps playing, right? But when I get to it, so we went to the pawn shop and bought two really cheap $10 guitars. And at band rehearsals and outside we take a break, and Paul and I would practice throwing these guitars, and they'd crash on the sidewalk and slide onto the street, and then you didn't want to get conked in the head with it either, right?
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
you just make a run for it.
And you guys had to throw each other your guitars in this video?
Yeah, we did in the Wild in the Streets video. So
Yeah.
we practiced that for quite a while. There was nothing left of the guitars. And we learned how to throw the guitars to each other for that shot.
Jeez.
So we demolished a couple, and we actually did it with our expensive guitars in the video, right?
And you did it on one take?
I don't remember. It was just a blur. The Wild in the Streets video was filmed in the Massey Ferguson tractor plant in Toronto.
And you guys were like on tour while you were filming that, weren't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was just a blur. Getting off the tour bus in Toronto at the Massey Ferguson plant was, and going into this filthy yard, and the factory was filthy too, pretty much. And, and then the other one, the Rock U video, was in a huge gravel pit also in Toronto. So, I mean, being in Toronto meant like you were almost at home, because we were always on the road. You were almost in Kitchener where I live, almost, but
yeah, you guys
maybe get there for a night, maybe even two. And I saw a guy's Facebook post today, this guy from Sweden, and he was posting about his old history on his rock and roll history. In today's post, he said that we played 14 cities in Sweden in 16 days.
I wouldn't doubt that.
So I didn't realize it was such a blur. I didn't realize it was 14 cities. I forgot, right?
Right.
And, I remember the one time in Sweden, it was midnight and the sun was still shining.
Oh, wow.
When we got there, we crossed the what do they call that? The polar line there, the Arctic Circle.
Right.
Yeah, we crossed the Arctic Circle in Sweden on the way to the one gig, and there was reindeer running across the highway.
Oh wow, crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we
Yeah.
got to this restaurant too, and everybody ordered this crazy food and stuff, and they had, are you ready? Cod's tongues on the menu.
Cod's tongues. What are cod's tongues?
It's a tongue from the fish called a cod,
Oh, really?
codfish.
Okay, cod tongue. Wow.
Yeah, so it was a plate of tongues, right?
Was it a delicacy or what?
you can you could have it. I don't want it. It's too gross for me. It was like eating an eraser.
Yeah, it'd be all rubbery.
Yeah, I don't think some of the guys wouldn't even try it. But I think Paul and Brian had reindeer for supper though. I had those shitty cod's tongues. Yeesh.
God, that's crazy. So that goes back a long time for you, and we're talking about your playing style. How much coming forward had that playing style influence your writing currently?
Well, I'd have to say what really changed the way I started playing guitar is I had started a country band because I thought there were some really great country songs out at that time. They just kept coming out with great songs. We put this band together, and everybody said, "Okay, we're going to learn these 7 songs, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. You got to know all 7 songs like the back of your hand." Well, I went in there and started learning, and I'm going, "Oh my God, how are these country guys playing this stuff?" It's with so they got high speed, but half of the speed's coming from using their picking fingers, like 3 of them, right?
That's right. That's
So,
right.
and a lot of open strings. So I was hard pressed to learn some of those country guitar solos. They're really difficult.
Right.
So, I was reading tablature, but just to make that shorten that whole thing up, I became a lot better guitar player from being in a country band for about a year. And that playing style kind of changed the way I played guitar for good. Like I can't help but, even in playing hard rock, I'm still using open strings, and I'm double picking sometimes with my fingernails and my pick. I can't help it. It just became a part of song, my kind of style. I guess it was kind of styling, man.
Well, and your guitar playing, when you wrote music back in the day, I'm going to assume that your guitar was your main writing instrument.
Yeah, I used to waste a lot of time writing songs because you'd spend a whole bunch of time writing the music, and you get to the chorus and you didn't know what you were singing about. So I got away from that, and I start with my chorus because then you're not wasting your time. But I wasted so much time not having a song title and a chorus before writing the rest of the song.
Oh,
Write
yeah.
the chorus first, man.
Right. Get the chorus.
Like Caleb and I one time, we were getting all snapped up around our old pool table, and we had the recorder there, an old cassette recorder. And I said, "Okay, here's a song title I want. Let's sing without a guitar, nothing. Just sing me a tempo and a beat with this song title." But okay, so now you're going to sing that song title with, let's say, a boogie beat, and then sing it fast, and then make it a ballad, and then make it a 3/4, the same title, right? But with different feels and different tempos. And then you can always use a speech impediment rock, like "Baby, I wanna, you ain't seen nothing yet."
Yeah, and your song can become viral.
So Caleb and I fooled around, and we recorded each one, and some of them were horrible and some of them were not. After about 6 different feels of just singing just that sentence, then we picked up an acoustic guitar and said, move the notes around underneath it to see how you could keep the singing notes good, proper, but move the
Right.
guitar underneath it. You know what I mean? Because, like, say for example, you could say the note you're singing is D. Well, you could play an F sharp, and that'll sound really good with that, perhaps, right?
Right.
Rather than playing the root note of D, you could play an underneath an F sharp while the singer's playing a D, which is kind of cool.
I got so many questions for you that have come out of that conversation. I mean, just so many questions about your writing style, for example. Um, you brought that writing style in a different format when you started writing your first studio album, all the way to this current studio album. Your writing style is much different than the style you approached when you were playing with other artists.
I don't know. What I like about being an indie artist is I don't have to follow any rules. I mean, if you start, for me anyway, I can only speak for myself, to sit down and say I'm going to write 10 hard rock songs. Well, then you've already started pigeonholing yourself, all right? So I like the freedom of, say you just got a good feel on something, but it doesn't fit your band, right? It doesn't fit this saleable, pitchable thing like Capitol Records would have, like it's hair metal band, and that's their marketing ploy. So the songs all gotta fit, right?
Yeah.
So, but I like the fact that I can write any style of song. They may not gel from song to song, but it gives me a sense of songwriting freedom. And
Yeah.
that's why, that's what being an indie artist is, right?
The freedom that comes along with that must be very liberating.
Well, when it's done, yeah. I mean, by the time it's done, it happens to be every album. I am almost sick of the album. Like every Helix album, by the time it's finally released, I'm already sick of it.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that we all have different ideas about, what we like and we don't like about any process. These songs that you write, though, they're not formula songs. They're all very different. And if someone, I mean, I think that's another reason that the album would be called Nobody Approved, because nobody would really approve so many songs on one album to be so disconnected in terms of the writing style, because each song is so different.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's just kind of open license on songwriting, I guess.
I listened to the album and it's like going to a wine sampling, dude.
Oh, what?
It's like going to a wine sampling, right? I mean, every song.
I've never been to one.
Well, like when I've done wine sampling, I've done the Niagara wine tour, and the cool thing about that is that each wine has its own unique flavor, right? And I'll never forget, there's this one wine that I'll never ever drink because it tastes like dirt. It's called Marcel Foch.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it even has a dirty name.
I don't know what that.
But it has a dirty finish. It tastes like there's a bit of dirt in the wine.
I've met a few chicks like that.
We're not going to go there. That's funny. But listening to your songs, every song has a different flavor to it. It's got a different hook. It's got a different beat to it. Like out of the gate, I Giant's got that sort of tribal feel to the drums, and the drums are extremely busy, and the drums really carry that tune.
Yeah, and I gotta say, Rick Mead played the alternating melody,
right,
on here, and I would actually call what Rick did, I would call it the God lick.
Right. No, he did the guitar work on that, right?
Yeah, he did the right.
Right.
So I had to phone Rick and like I offered, can I do something in return for you, brother? Let me do something for you. I can maybe do some video editing or some audio or something. Let me do. No, man, it was no problem. Thanks for having me.
He was just happy to do it.
Yeah, he played on two of the songs too. I got Rick Mead on two songs.
So,
Hey,
somebody that I think you should get in future writing involved with you to do a guitar lick in one of your songs would be Caleb Duck.
yeah, if you want something really spastic and right off the top of your head, you take Caleb Duck. He'll give you that. He'll give you a different solo every time. 100 recordings, 100 different solos, all for the
Yeah.
same part.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that can make up a solo as he goes. Like he just has that natural feel.
Yeah, he can really he can jam away and not repeat himself, and it's something that I've never been able to do, or I was never really comfortable freestyling it that way. But I mean, he's surely a freestyling guitar player. He's spastic at times too. But I mean, with his hand, he's spastic. Well, his solos are
Right.
spastic, not him.
We say that in our recording process with Green Ink because, as you know, we record all of our songs live off the floor.
Yeah,
So they're a live multi-track off the floor, and Brian never plays the same lead guitar solo twice, ever.
really, eh?
And it's all based on how he's feeling that night that we're recording the song. So when we record the song, it's really just a version of that song that we're
Yeah.
recording.
Well, Zeppelin did that too. Like Jimmy Page, when he played live, his playing is pretty rough, man. I mean, but even on the albums, there's a lot of rough notes. He's a real rough player, Jimmy Page. You know, he writes the world's best licks and sets all the standards. But when he comes to soloing and stuff, you can hear it even on the first Led Zeppelin album. There's, you know, it's kind of sloppy, and that's his style, man. Like what they said with Neil Young. Hey Neil, and they did that Canada song. Hey Neil, you're singing that note flat. He goes, "That's my style, man."
Well, it's really funny because, like I said, when we record, Brian's solos are different every time, and he's in good company. I mean, people like Eric Clapton used to always say, "I don't remember the solo that I did when I recorded that song. I don't remember it note for note, and I never play it note for note ever again. The only time it'll ever be played that way is on that recording."
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that say that too. I've heard that lots of times. That's not for me. It's just something. If that's what you put on the record and you're going to play live, you know, people like, say for example, you have a great big hit like Hotel California, and you jam the solo. Well, they want to hear the solo on the record. They don't want to hear you jamming. Hotel California is a good example of that.
Well, when you played live as Helix, you guys really went after imitating your recordings.
Yeah, like, I mean, we were really regimented. We would spend, it had to be 1 hour before the show. You had to be in the dressing room, in your stage clothes, getting tuned up, making sure your shit works, brush your teeth. Don't forget to brush your teeth, you know. And then we'd run over all the stuff that didn't sound right last night because we played 6 nights a week, right?
Yeah.
So, and then our manager had us do what we called the every night tape. So they do a board recording every night, and every afternoon we had a band meeting and we'd listen to the last night's performance. We had to do it every day, right? It was really aggravating. But you could hear who was singing flat, who was singing sharp, who was late, who was on, who played the wrong guitar note. Let's fix that bass part, or that kick and drum thing doesn't sound right. And it was just tedious and regimented. But it taught us like no, guy, you get rid of all the arguments. Like guys would go, oh, I didn't sing that flat, or I didn't come in late. Well, say, well, yeah, let's listen to last night's tape, and we'll see what was really who was what, right? So we would in the dressing room run over those parts that sounded wrong from the night before, and tighten that other part out. Hey, Fritz, you did that roll, and something at the end of the roll, something went clunk, and it didn't, there was something broken there. Let's fix that. Let's polish it up, right? So that's the kind of stuff we did. So like playing 6 nights a week, and you'd figure that we'd, after a couple hundred shows, we'd get it together, but there was always mistakes. But then we were always jumping all over the place, right?
And you guys had, you guys had that attitude though, by reviewing your shows. You guys had that attitude of we can always do better. You guys were never satisfied with just being good. You wanted to be the best you could be.
Yeah, and the other thing is there'd be a few times where we knew, like sometimes we go, our manager, Bill Sipe, he's coming out tonight, so you better be on, right? Right. So he would just show up and not phone us or let us know that he was going to be there. And he would just sit at the back of the room and see if we were screwing around or were we really doing a show, right? And he caught us a few times just fucking around, and not really putting in a wholehearted effort, right?
Right.
Because maybe everybody was hungover from the night before. Who knows? Stayed up all night, right?
Yeah.
So,
Sometime you and I gotta talk about some of your old road stories. But thinking about the whole experience of working to get better, how does that influence your writing now when you're thinking about writing all these solo projects?
I mean to say, in my older age, these hands are turning into cement, really. And this is why I'm having guest guitar players come on. And the other reason for that is too, I don't want to. It's not. I shouldn't say I don't want to. I would rather spend the time being creative rather than learning a whole bunch of fancy licks and staying dexterous and and limber. And I'd rather just be creating the song rather than playing a whole bunch of guitar, right?
Right.
So I don't like, I love playing the rhythms and stuff, but I'm thinking, how much time am I going to have to spend to play the solos on this? I'd rather maybe I could ask somebody to play the solo for me, and I could start working on another song, right?
So writing the song for you has become about more than just being a musician. You like the true art form of bringing a work to life.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, some of it's starting to become. Some of the songs are becoming theatrical almost.
Yeah, you've got some really, really great stuff there. That your pop album is coming along good. Oh, let's talk about that briefly because you're still looking for a young man to come and sing on that album.
Yes, yeah. The last time I think I got a couple of 60-year-old women beside a campfire, and I was looking for a 16 to 20-year-old young male that wanted to sing the songs for me. This is what I was saying, jumping back to the creative part of it. So because you have freedom of the liberty to write any style you want, I ended up with a whole bunch of what you might call pop songs that are so soft or lighthearted that I can't even put them with on a Wicked Twin album. They're too different. They're way too different. So, but it was fun writing the song. For the one song on the pop album is called I Want to Make a Day Between Saturday and Sunday.
That's a great it's a great tune because I like how you put it together, but your idea about getting a younger person to sing it and turn it into a pop theme is kind of a cool idea.
I told Brian Vollmer that what I just told you about the song title. He
Right.
goes, "Oh, you'll never make that work." I go, "What do you mean? I want to make a day between Saturday and Sunday." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I guess it works."
I guess it works. Oh man,
So
you got
yeah, before I couldn't even finish the sentence, and he poo-pooed it. Right?
well, it's because you guys come at writing music from very different viewpoints. And it's like you said, you have your own ideas about writing music, and everybody does. Like none of us write music the same way.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to a lot of indie music. I listen to the radio stations that support Wicked Twin, and I listen to their broadcasts, and I hear a lot of really great stuff. And I heard some really interesting recordings yesterday on radio. And I got to tell you, I could refer this back to your own band that you never play it twice the same. Well, whoever recorded this song that I heard yesterday, they completely changed the tempo and speed it way up in the chorus and then slow way down in the verse on purpose. So I don't think you could ever do that digitally. It had to be played by a band, and they did it really good, but it was really obvious that they sped way up, and at the end of their chorus, it would slow way down. It's just something you never hear, and that's why I liked it.
Yeah, and I think that's the whole difference between writing styles, different writing styles. You have I think an avant-garde approach to writing. It's not what you do is not part of the mainstream, and I don't know if you do it for the listener as much as you do it for the freedom to create something, and you think, you know what, I really like what I'm creating here, and I just hope enough other people like it too.
You know, when I pick a song title, like sometimes you could just look through this week's today's newspaper, going to the music section, the movie section, what's playing in the theaters, and you'll see all kinds of really great titles right there. And then you don't have to copy the title, but you can, if you write them down, you can mix those titles up and make your own title, right? And
yeah,
then,
I mean, just think about the difference in all of these, the difference in all of these songs, because they all have these really, really different titles to them. And that's not what I was looking
hey, can
for.
I take a beer break?
You can take a beer break in 2 seconds because we're going to be going offline in about 2 seconds. Can you hold on a sec?
Sure.
All right. Here we go. So you got all these really cool song titles. I Giant, I'm Nobody Approved, Happily Never After, A Noon Walk on the Asylum Lawn.
Yeah.
A song, I know one song people are going to be looking forward to, and I don't know if that's going to be the next song we're going to release or not, but it's called I'd Hide a Body for You.
I'd hide a body for you, baby. Ooh,
That is
yes, I would.
That I'd Hide a Body for You, baby is such a great hook, man. I love the lyric. I love the way that the song wraps itself around the lyric. It is so well written. I really
Thanks, pal. Yeah, this love tastes just like ice cream. The wind blows harder than you've ever seen.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you've written some amazing lyrics into these songs. Some great song titles in there. Undo You in That Dirty Dress, Medicine Man, The End of My Desire, Indigo, A Sickle-Shaped Moon. I mean, just great freaking song titles.
Thanks. I work hard at it. I keep a running library. If I hear a phrase a lot of times I heard a phrase that I'll just write it down and keep it in a Word document on my desktop. I never have to look for that, and I just keep adding little phrases and titles, and I got to have like 8 pages of them now.
Yeah, we're past the top of the hour, and we've been talking to Brent Doerner Brent the Doctor Doerner. We're going to have him back on another episode to talk more about the rest of this album. And we're going to talk also about how he got his name, The Doctor. And we'll see how that relates to his songwriting and other things going forward. Brent, it's been a pleasure having you on the show tonight.
Thanks. Nice talking with you, Kenny.
Yeah, and it's been great having you here. And remember, this is the Indie Show. That guy over there, that's Brent Doerner. And I'm Kenny, and you're not. And this has been the Indie Show. And have a great